And a lot of times people meet me, they look at my background, they hear me speak for the last 50 minutes, they look at me on stage and go, what the heck? How did you go from being a fighter pilot to a leadership consultant and professional speaker? Well, the fact of the matter is I am a very unexpected speaker. You see, back in 2017, out of nowhere, completely unwelcome, completely unexpectedly, not on my timeline, my military career that was going very well came to a complete end overnight, out of my control. 2017, I was medically retired from the United States Air Force from the dream I'd had since I was a 5-year-old kid watching jets fly here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let me take you back. In the summer of 2012, I was a lieutenant colonel. I was the commander of the 333rd Fighter Squadron at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina. This is the epitome, the height of like fighter pilot career. Like being a fighter squadron commander is where it's at. I was physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit. Things were going well. And in the summer of 2012, I came down with what felt like the summer flu. Now back then we didn't have a summer flu. Now we've got COVID, who knows? But it felt bad. I got temperature, fever, aches, malaise. Like most pilots, I ignored it. We don't want to go to the doctor because the doctor can ground us. I thought I could just get through it. But about 2 weeks into this malaise and fever, I found a rash on my right hip. I went to the doctor. I said, these are my symptoms. Check out this rash. They said, oh, it looks like you had a spider bite. They gave me 5 days of oral antibiotics, slapped some cream on it, and said, get back out there. Unfortunately, it wasn't just a spider bite. Over the next 3 months, I would rapidly decline neurologically to a place where I was struggling to read and write, to a place where I was having trouble word finding. I had major patches of numbness and tingling all across my body. I was getting lost driving home. I would go into a grocery store and not remember what a grocery store was for. I was dropping things with my right hand. I was dragging and tripping over my right leg. I went back to the doctors. They said, you're grounded. I said, I know, I can't fly planes like this. I'm the commander of an F-15E fighter squadron and I can't fly. I'm the dodo bird. The doctors go, we think you might be getting multiple sclerosis, but you don't meet the diagnostic criteria. At that point, the Air Force told me, well, you can either medically retire now, or we can try to keep you in, you just don't ever get to fly planes again. My last flight in the F-15E, I had no idea was gonna be my last flight in the F-15E. That is the only regret I have in my life to date. Treat every day and every flight, man, like it's your last, and treasure every time with your team and every customer engagement, man, as if it's gonna be your last. Every interaction with your family and your friends here. I said I wanna stay in, because even if I can't fly planes, I wanna be a part of a team. I wanna be a part of this Air Force franchise. I wanna work with elite performing people I could still make an impact, and over the next 4 years, I fought my body and I fought to stay in the Air Force. And my symptoms would wax and they would wane. They would come and they'd go. And every time they would flare, they would get worse until at their very worst, my symptom list was 63 individual symptoms long, covering every single system in my body. The doctors could not figure out what was wrong with me. They started saying, well, maybe it's all in your head. You're in a high-stress career field. You've been doing it for 20 years. Maybe it's just getting time to retire. And I remember in the summer of 2016, I was a full bird colonel serving at the White House as the military aide to the then First Lady, Michelle Obama. My career is going well at the time. I woke up in my bed in Northern Virginia, and when I woke up, I was locked in, paralyzed. I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, nothing. I had to wait for my husband to come find me. How terrifying. To go from this truly elite, high-performing fighter pilot to completely broken overnight, completely dependent on other people for all of my activities of daily living. It was in that moment that the Air Force goes, wow, we cannot figure this out. They cut bait. They sent me to Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, where they cast the net wide and they figured out what was wrong with me. My career, that amazing career we just talked about, was gone in the blink of a bite. I'm the survivor of late-stage neurological tick-borne illness. A tick bite gave me 5 tick-borne pathogens that eventually had found their way to my brainstem. For 9 months, I laid in my bed with a home health care nurse, unable to walk, talk, read, and write. For another 1.5 years, I went into rehab so that I could be here with all of you today, to stand on stage, to speak, to share my story with all of you. 2 years housebound and bedridden. And it was in those moments that I was medically retired from the military. So when people ask me, Nicole, how'd you go from fighter pilot to being on stage? I like to remind people, I have 9 months worth of words saved up and I gotta get them out, okay? The day my retirement, 29 December 2017, I was home alone. I never had a retirement ceremony to this day. The Air Force mailed me my retirement paperwork. Nobody from the Air Force called. The sense of abandonment and betrayal and how low I got was bad at that time, bad. And I put my head in the sofa and I cried like a baby. Who am I if I'm not wearing my nation's uniform? What's my contribution to society if I'm not flying planes? How am I gonna provide for my family? I lost everything overnight. And it was in those moments and those dark days that I sat there and I thought, well, who's gonna hire me? I still can't read or write past the 3rd grade level. I walk around unable to control my temperature, my heart rate, and my blood pressure without 17 different medications so I could be here with all of you. Who's gonna hire me? What am I gonna do? And it was in that moment of lowness, who am I? What's my contribution? That these words came to my head. Nicole, yield to overcome. Yield to overcome. Those words weren't about surrendering, quitting, or giving up. Those words are about full acceptance of where I found myself in that moment. It's not what you can't do anymore. The right question is, what is it that you can do right now with what you have to move forward? I hope that this story is a distinct reminder to all of you, especially as franchise owners in these changing times, that we all have the power to reinvent ourselves at any given time.